trailblazing comic book movie actor has the chance to open the door to the multiverse nearly 30 years after retiring the cape and cowl. Holy flashpoint, Batman. The news that was impossible to see coming from any direction. Michael Keaton may once again don the iconic cape and cowl in Andy Muschietti's upcoming The Flash, which is still starring Ezra Miller. Keaton, famous for playing Bruce Wayne in Batman in Tim Burton's Batman 1989 film and Batman Returns in 1992, is in talks to reprise the role in more DC films beyond The Flash, becoming an integral part of the DC film universe as the franchise opens up the doors to the multiverse. Keaton, who stepped away from superhero films after Batman Returns, famously made his return to the world of comic books in the Marvel Cinematic Universe's Spider-Man Homecoming in 2017, with the door open for Keaton to return as Adrian Toomes, aka the Vulture, in future Sony-produced Spider-Man films, which he's already set to appear as the character in next year's Morbius. The actor has his feet firmly planted in multiple comic book worlds. Reports say Keaton would play Batman in a Nick Fury-like role, starting with Warner Bros.' The Flash, and could continue to play the Dark Knight in other upcoming DC movies like Batgirl. Reportedly, the Keaton Batman won't impact the mythology being hammered out by Matt Reeves' reboot, The Batman, starring Robert Pattinson as the Caped Crusader, and it will pick up the storyline after Batman Returns. After his ambitious two-part adaptation of Stephen King's book, It only makes sense that Muschietti would swing for the fences with his Flash film, which is said to be significantly inspired by Geoff Johns and Andy Kubert's Flashpoint 2011 event series. Now, there's been a lot of fan speculation for a long time that Michael Keaton may come back and play an older Bruce Wayne, but there's still a lot of questions that this raises. There hasn't been officially any talk that anybody knows of between Warner Brothers and Michael Keaton. So there are some questions that I have revolving around this news that actually broke in a reputable news source in the last couple of days. Number one is, when they say a Nick Fury-type character, what does that even mean? Now, is there going to be no Batman moving forward whatsoever as they try to continue towards maybe another Justice League mashup movie? Or what? I mean, that's kind of my question. One of the things that really worries me about what DC is doing right now, and DC and Warner Brothers, is that they seem to be taking a scattershot approach with all of their properties. Yeah, you did this offshoot Joker movie that did really, really well. It was a really good movie, but it doesn't have a place in the universe that you've spent the last several years building. Now you're doing this Batman movie, which you hadn't officially come out and said was any kind of a reboot, but we all know it's pretty much a reboot or a retelling or something. You don't know yet, or at least we don't know yet. I'm sure the studio might. We don't yet know how it's going to fit into the larger universe, so we're still kind of left with questions like that. And then we hear that... Then when we hear these two things that kind of confuse me a little bit. One, we hear that it's going to pick up after the events of Batman Returns. So it's essentially going to be Batman 3, which is something, retconning stuff is something that's happened in Hollywood a lot the last several years. And also, it's not going to impact the story, really have anything to do with Robert Pattinson's Batman, which we're supposed to be getting sometime in the next year or so. So if you're going to have Batman somewhere in the future of this DCEU, who is it going to be? Is it going to be this guy, or is it going to be that guy? That kind of confuses me, and that gives me a little bit of worry, but again, we don't really have a lot of details yet, so I don't really know where that's going to go. And also, when you say Nick Fury type character, do you mean he's just going to be that guy that pops in for 5 minutes here and there, says something inspirational to the good guys, and sends them on their way to beat the bad guy? I think that's a waste of Batman. I mean, you have... Batman is probably the biggest, or maybe the second biggest comic book character of all time. Do you really want to relegate him to 9 minutes of screen time in a 2.5 hour long movie that costs you $250 million to make? That doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. I think if you're going to have a Batman, you have a Batman full-fledged out there doing his thing, crushing bad guys. Having him in the universe and having him be a throwaway character is really, really dumb in my opinion. So unless you write that perfectly, it's going to go wrong. Now, the other question I have, and it says it's not to impact the Robert Pattinson Batman films. So, again, what does it have to do with anything? Are you just making this movie to make this movie? If he's not going to have anything to do with it, you've already established that he exists in the universe that we've been getting the last couple of years by putting him in the Flash movie. And that's fine. If you want to bring him in, I'm perfectly fine with bringing him into that. But are you now saying that Tim Burton's Batman movies exist in that universe? They seem to be taking the approach that Fox was taking with the X-Men for a long time, continuity, schmontinuity, and I think it confused and muddled the whole thing up. That's one of the reasons you had a really good movie, then a really bad movie, then a really good movie, then a really bad movie, and you couldn't really get any kind of continuity. The other question is, what effect will this multiverse have on the properties we already have and we've already grown to love that were really good, like Aquaman, Wonder Woman, and Shazam? Aquaman was a very, very good movie. Wonder Woman was a fantastic movie. I have no doubt that Wonder Woman 84 is going to be every bit as good when we finally get it in theaters. Shazam is looking like the sequel is going to be really, really good. We don't have any story, anything yet about it. We don't even know who all is going to be in the movie, with the exception of a couple of people that kind of have to come back if you're going to have the movie. But what kind of what direction is all this going in? If you want the multiverse, fine. Is that how you're going to recast Batman? And which Batman are we going to get? Is that how you're going to recast Superman? Because we still don't know if Henry Cavill's coming back. It did break a week or two ago that Henry Cavill is in talks to come back, but that's not a sure thing. And it looked really, really ugly with him, the way it looked really, really ugly with Ben Affleck when Ben Affleck split. So think what you will about that. I don't know how this is going to affect all these good things we have going on. Another question I have is, will it affect Michael Keaton's role in the MCU? My initial thought is no. Generally speaking, you don't want one person in two separate huge properties. That wouldn't go over very well. Not only that, but it's usually something worked in the contract saying you can't do another similar character while you're playing this one. I don't know if he has that in his contract for Marvel or whatever contract he may eventually sign with Warner Brothers to do the DC stuff. I don't know his contract details precisely, but I think he could probably get away with it considering he'd be playing a hero in one and a bad guy in another. I think that would work out okay, especially considering that you've already got him showing up in Morbius. You guys saw him in the Morbius trailer a while back. He's obviously supposed to be coming back to play some kind of a role and to be the big bad again at some point in Spider-Man's story. So I really think that him as an actor can exist in both those universes, but that remains to be seen how it's all going to work out. The last question that comes to my mind concerning the Flash movie is, Warner Brothers and DC still hasn't worked out the whole chokeslam in Iceland thing with Ezra Miller. They haven't come up with a definitive answer as to whether they're going to recast the role or whether they're going to go ahead and stand by him or what. So, I mean, there's just been no answer at all from Warner Brothers about how they're going to handle that situation. And for those of you who don't know, Ezra Miller was caught on camera choke slamming, and I say that in quotations because it was just a really odd video, choke slamming a fan outside of a nightclub or some kind of an establishment in Iceland about a month and a half or 2 months ago. So it's not really known as to whether they're going to keep him around to even play the Flash. Not to mention, we're not 100% sure this Flash movie is even getting made. It was actually technically supposed to be in theaters 2 years ago. And this thing has just been in development hell almost from the beginning. So, I mean, I like the fact that Andy Muschietti is on board to direct. I think the It movies were fantastic. First one better than the second one, but both still very, very good. He's made a couple of really good movies before that, but I really don't know what the direction of all this faces. But anyway, those are the questions that I have. And again, right now he is just in talks with DC and Warner Brothers to come back and play Bruce Wayne or Batman. These talks could break down and they could lead to nothing. To be absolutely honest, the way news tends to break from Hollywood is the news hits the wires about a step behind where it actually is. So they could be really, really close to signing a deal, or they could have already signed the deal by now and they're just waiting to announce it until it gets to a better time frame to where it will make more sense for them for the movie. I don't know, but we're going to see. I'm definitely very interested in this. One of the things that I'm very curious to see, and I'm going to put the picture up here right now because I want you guys to understand what I'm getting at, is this joint right here. This is something that Jeremy and Wolner and I have talked about on this channel before, and I think at no lengths privately in our own conversations. Could we be seeing the beginning of what could be Batman Beyond? Because we've been hearing these fan casting rumors about Michael Keaton coming back and playing the older Bruce Wayne and bringing in the Terry McGinnis character to take over as Batman, because Michael Keaton, who is now I think in his 60s, is just too old to go out there and go banging around the streets of Gotham all night long like he used to do when he was in his 30s. So could this be a precursor to getting a Batman Beyond storyline? I certainly hope so. That's the movie I've been wanting to see for a long, long time. As much as I like seeing Batman on the big screen in a lot of different iterations, I even love Adam West's Batman from a nostalgia point of view. But I really, really want to see the Batman Beyond storyline play out on film in a theater in real life, because I think that'd be a fantastic movie. But anyway, go down in the comments and let me know what you guys think. Don't forget to hit the like button if you like what I said here today, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.